We're going to go over the ankle and the foot today and how it increases performance. David Weck, a buddy of mine out in California, said, you know, I'm like, how come people don't have more interest in this? He goes, because it's not sexy. You know what that means, don't you? I mean, who wants to talk about ankles and feet? It isn't sexy. We want to see chests, biceps, big, strong bodies, the athlete look, but it never involves feet and ankles. But they're the biggest point of performance that you can possibly, think about it. What do you see on the reports every camp from college and NFL? Ankle sprain, ankle injury, ankle, shoulder, ankle, shoulder, ankle. Am I right? So why is the ankle and foot the stepchild, the redheaded stepchild of what we do? So anyway, before I get going, my PT friend is here, Nate Harvey. So Nate Sino and his wife Jill. And he's going to be helping me out a little bit today. And I wanted my powerlifting buddy, Joe McCoffey, where there he is back there. He has been around a long time. He's almost as old as me, but we know the same people through all the. It's kind of like meeting one of my old football coaches. We just know all these people from all these years. And I was on the cover of Powerlifting 5 times, and he was only on the cover 3 times. Just saying, Powerlifting USA. But anyway, I just wanted to dog you on that. But he was a guy I look up to. I'm really glad he's here today, as well as Nate and Jill. So thank you for having me here. And we're going to get started on this really easy topic, okay? The ankle is the most loaded joint on the body, okay? The Achilles tendon is the strongest tendon on your body. It has its own name. You could type it in your phone, okay, and it'll auto-correct it, capitalizing it. It will also do that with Satan and Jesus, okay? So the Achilles is pretty important, isn't it? If your iPhone will capitalize it, there's something there, all right? So we have to address this issue. And just stretching an Achilles, standing up, the typical standing on the wall stretching, you're not doing anything. Come on now. You're not going to stretch it. Have you ever been in a cadaver and pulled one apart? According to my doctor friends, it's almost impossible. You cannot stretch the thing. It's like a steel cable. So how are we going to get it ready for sport? All right? Well, I've been at this a long time. And I've been doing the ankle thing since 2005, I think, something like that. So ankle was my first thing, and then when I hurt my lower back, I got big into that. And then I got big into, I said, 2 shoulders, and why not do that at the same time? So my background was physical therapy for six years, and I did that while I was powerlifting, because all the powerlifters that were way stronger than me, I was like, well, how can I beat them? And it was easy. Let them get in their way, because they're not going to do the stuff it takes to hold together. Because I saw all these guys were getting stronger than you can possibly imagine, but then they'd fall apart. One major injury and you're gone. Am I right, Joe? Where is he? One major injury, a torn pec, a herniated disc, a torn quad tendon. Goodbye, you're done, all right? You can't come back. So not at that level. So I'm thinking, well, if I don't get these things, then I'll outlast them, keep staying strong, and then I'll finally beat them. And that's exactly what happened. And I was 46 years old when I got all my records. So there's something to it. So I did that aspect, and that's why we call it, what's the thing I call it? Preparation, strength preparation. So I'm like, well, why are we fixing it? I learned that ankle stuff from Dick Hartzell. You guys ever heard of him, the rubber band man? All right. He showed me compression in 05, 04 when he came up with it. So I started doing ankle sprains in the clinic. And one day I had a screeching hold on ankle sprains. I'm like, well, I don't care about ankle sprains. Why don't we just make the ankle stronger and not sprain it at all? Because his big thing is he'd jump off a table, lands on the side of his feet like this, and he wouldn't sprain his ankle, all right? And I'm like, that's pretty impressive. His ankles are so strong and resilient, he doesn't sprain his ankle jumping off a table, landing on him sideways, So I'm like, okay, so let's start strengthening ankles. So I'm dealing with athletes, dealing with powerlifters, and we're finding out flexion is the problem. Your ankles are already strong. Think about it. You guys have been standing up, sitting down, they're loaded, standing up, they're loaded. When you're done training, you're walking out of the gym. When you're done with football practice, you're walking off the field, going to take a shower, whatever. You're on them the whole time. You never come off of them. Try walking on your hands like that. Oh, you can't, can you? Right. you can do a few steps on your hands, but walking around all day, your ankles are already strong. So now we have to unleash them to do what's right. So we're looking at how many nerves are at the bottom of the foot. And they're speculative. I mean, some say there's 4,000, some say there's 7,000. Then a couple of the overlapping research things I read, there's 8,000 nerve endings at the bottom of the feet. Now there's a new one that Tim O'Neill came up with where there's 200,000, and I think they're talking about the ancillary feed-off nerves of the major nerves that are going through the foot, right? So let's just agree on that there's thousands of nerve endings in the feet, feeding your brain all this information, all right? So when you step, one of the things that's called a plantar shock response system. So when you step, when you take a lunge, walk, go to sprint, okay, your brain has the information from your feet. Your feet say, hey, this is what's up. The brain goes, okay, I need to recruit these muscles here and hold these and stabilize these. So it's doing that, looping all those times a second, right? It's beyond our comprehension, isn't it? So it behooves you to have happy feet and strong ankles with decent flexion, wouldn't you? So the research we look for flexion is for an athlete, we need to well, let me, Big, come on up here. Take one of your shoes off, or both, it doesn't matter. So what's your first name?
Sean.
Sean's gonna be our model, okay? So just go ahead, lay on your stomach here and just put that foot right up. Any way you want, yep. So, I have him in a passive position right here. He's not putting any force on his foot, right? So now we can look at everything. So when we go to flexion, okay, when we go to plantar flexion, usually you'll see that straight up and down line, and there's a congruency in the joint here that it gives you different, you know, like 45 degrees, 35, 50 degrees, whatever. But I don't really care about that because everybody's got this, unless you got a lot of hardware in here, right? So this is pretty sound on everybody. And when we go into the inside here, okay, on inversion, everybody's pretty good on that unless they have plates and screws and whatnot in their foot. So if the ankle has not gone orthopedic yet and we can move it around, okay, they say they're like 35, 45 degrees here, right? Which he's pretty close to having, okay? Then when we get to E version, they like 5 to 15 degrees of flexion. We got none. You know, we're at 0, okay? A lot of people are negative. Then we go into dorsiflexion like this, they want 20 degrees, toe to knee. What do we have here? Nate, you know? Yeah. So we need to work on that stuff, don't we? What's the big thing that's not compliant right here when I'm pushing down on his toe? Achilles, okay? And then the rest of it, that Achilles isn't 100%, but the rest of it are these bones in here and the ligaments in his foot, which there's many, okay? So what our job is to do is to free up the flexion, okay, and keep them strengthening. So we're going to throw strength at everything. Because you as coaches, all right, you're to get people stronger. So we throw strength at things. You follow me? Body tempering is strength training 101. All right, so that's all it is. It's not physical therapy. It's not bringing you back from an injury. If the medical field decides to use it for that, that's great. But that's not what it was intent for. All right? So when we go to do compression on this ankle, all right, I'm not trying to cure him from bad ankle flexion. I'm trying to help him get stronger, right? By giving him the flexion he needs. So we found out on the squat, most people can get 25 to 70 pounds on their squat, on their max effort attempt, okay, just with proper flexion, all right? And it's like a little less on the deadlift, because the deadlift has to travel through your arms. But when you have your whole body under the bar, you get a little bit more. Why is that? Because the bottom of your feet are conductors of force, okay? Your body is a conductor of force, and this is where it connects. So it's got to pull peripherally and everything else. So now when he's squatting, or he's jumping, or he's running, he's blocking, whatever, okay? He has to have as much contact with the ground or the floor as possible with the foot. So what we want to do is our job is to get the metatarsals spread out and working. And get this, happy. Let's romance it a little bit, you know? He needs to do a little band work, a little compression work, make his ankles and feet happy, you know? Because you know what he's done for his ankles lately? Nothing. Like his whole life, nothing, okay? When we address an ankle and foot, it's only when it's in trouble. And it's like, man, that sucks, okay? So when we talked about our flexion here, it's up to you, the individual. You got to teach this to the football players, the gymnastics, the athletes, the basketball players. And here's one other thing before we get started on this, okay? When I deal with athletes, mostly football players and lifters, okay, we found flat-footedness runs rampant in athletes, okay? That just means they don't have an arch like this. It's just flat. And I mean the tibia sits on the inside of that foot, okay? It glides over that because the ankle's a saddle joint, so it just glides over the talus bone and to the inside. And the feet look like they're plopping out, okay? So with our white athletes, we see probably 10% of your white athletes with flat foot. Islanders and Hispanics, we found like 20-25%, okay? Our black athletes, around 90%, even more, all right? So what's that mean, all right? Well, and I would put Asian in with the Islanders too. It only means that we have to have a strong ankle laterally when we're flat-footed, don't we? Because this doesn't hurt speed at all right? So I need to get this ankle as strong as I can laterally here. And then I want to get the flexion I need. That's all I need to do. And it's up to the player and the lifter to do that and to take precautions, all right? So you saw what we did on this test here. Now we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing, okay? So go ahead and sit up, and you can put your foot off the end here, just like this. Good. And when we get to the section with body temper in this, Nate's going to talk while I work, okay? He's going to explain some things to you. So we're going to take this compression tape here, and of course it's brand new. So this stuff gets a little bit better as you use it, you know, because it gets the oil on it from everybody's skin, and it just works better that way. When it comes out of the box, it's like talcum powder. So what I'm going to do is, you see it automatically he wants to put his toe up at 90 degrees. We don't have to do that here, so you just relax. My big thing with compression here is I want to get around all these bones right here, okay? Now, I'm not doing manipulative therapy for what an athletic trainer or PT need to be doing. I'm just doing strength stuff. So we're just going to, just like we're wrapping a knee, wrapping a wrist or an elbow, it's kind of the same thing, all right? Except it's the most loaded joint on the body. So I'm going to take right around here. I'm not going to get up way by the toes up here. Just want to get to the base of his foot here. Now create a little strap here. There we go. Now I'm just going to fill it all in. And watch what I do. I'm about a 70%er. A couple of my PT friends are like 80%ers, 85%ers, meaning they pull that band tension like that, because that's 100%, right? So I'm pulling about 70%. That's how I feel comfortable doing it. A lot of my PT buddies, they're very brutal with this. Athletic trainers are the best at this because they have the most experience with tape. So, I'm almost done. Here we go. And I'll tuck it in right here. There we go. I don't know if you can see that, you guys. Good. All right. So now, got it taped up. Feel good? What I'm going to do with most of these, during the season we found with NFL football players, linemen, okay, we like to do this 3 times a week, and it lasts about 5 to 7 minutes, all right? Off season, 1 time a week. You all, 1 time a week, okay? So now what I'm going to do is roll up my sleeves and get to work. So I'm going to take my hands and go at the bottom of the tibia here, okay, and the top of the talus bone, I'm going to separate them just like this, all right, and start messing around. Just like that, pulling apart, okay? Just getting it, you feel that? Yeah. So, and then I could take and start getting my chest here and start, you just relax. Pull your toe to your knee, there you go, relax, good. Now just start getting that all moved around. One more time, good. And I'll take here, this is one of my favorite, one of my PT friends came up with. I'll grab the heel, that big toe, pull back. You see that? You just relax. Pull that back. All right? Then we'll take, tries to come out on us, didn't it? That's what these new bands, the powder just like let them loose. You got to really get them in there. And so now I'm going to get a lacrosse ball or something equivalent. That should do it. So I'll take This is one right here. And we'll usually cut these things in half, okay? And we'll just jam it right in here, all right? Right in those bones. You see that? Roll it up the foot a little bit, pull the toes around it, all right? And just start separating those bones. That's all we're doing, right? So I generally want to be on the same level with him when I'm doing this. Running the plantar tendon. Feel that? Yeah. Right here. And then one of my favorite, a little hard with this because it's round. When this is cut in half, it's so easy. I like to separate the joint. And so what I'll do is I'll find that seam. It's usually right here. I'll push this here and then relax. And then just push that. You feel that ankle open up? Yeah. Just like here. You see that? It's really cool. And easier when they're cut in half. You just take your hunting knife and do it. That's what T-Money does. So it's easy stuff. And that's what I'll do. And then we'll take the toes, mess with them. I can pull them around this ball too, just like this. Here. All right. Go from 5 down to 1. Just like here. I'm giving you the rush job, so you're getting cheated, actually. So Coach Felder last year in Miami, I had him on a static body temper. I said, we do this for 5 minutes. And at 3 minutes, I took it off. And after the whole clinic's over, he came up. You know, he's a big dude. And he came up and he goes, oh, Super D, you cheated me 2 minutes. And I was like, let's go back. And I loaded him back up, man. What do you say? What do you say when a big, strong 6'6" guy tells you something? You say, yes, sir. That's what you say. So I'm going to go ahead and just mess it around. Go here. Just move it around. Just like that. And then I can leave it and start the next one. Easy stuff, isn't it? And then when we take it off, which we'll do now. All right. Now it didn't want to come off. We're just popping it in. So now what's going to happen is all the blood's going to rush back in there. Okay? You see how it's white here? And it'll start turning red. See it? And then I usually like to go on the barefoot, by the way. I don't want to make them take a sock off and everything. And so now when I take this, feel how fluid it is? I paid them $20 to say that earlier. So, you know, right? Nice and fluid, all right? And go ahead and walk around, see how that feels. And it's not a Jesus effect, it's just compression, okay? That's all it is. So it works really well. These bands here, Kelly Starrett makes and sells through Road. There's many companies that sell them now. Dick Hartzell was the one that came up with them by accident back in the early 2000s. And then he came up with his ankle sprain protocol after that. I showed this, I went to Kelly Starrett's house in 2011, and I showed him Dick Hartzell's compression band. I did his ankle like that and everything. And then 3 months later, he had this made. It was like, wow, why didn't we think of that, you know? So it was pretty funny. But that's how compression bands came to be. And if Kelly Starrett got on board, when he got on board with it, it just flew. I mean, his charisma and his status in the fitness world, basically, he took it to another level, you know. So it was a good thing he jumped on it when we did, you know. All right, you like that? So don't go anywhere. Go ahead and lay back down. Remember we told you about the Achilles being rough? So scoot up a little bit more, right about here. And so what we're going to have the athlete do is we're just going to have him come up here, and I want to get his feet kind of like this, okay? So I'm going to get the body tempered roller, all right? And I'm just nice and easy. Let's drag this thing over. This is like a Russian kettlebell here. So I'm taking. And have you ever had this on your cast before? Yeah. Okay. Whew. So now we're going to take this and place it right here. Good. You okay? And then we're just going to leave it there for about 5 minutes. Do you want me to do something with you real quick? Take both shoes off, and you lay on your stomach and put your feet up in here. That's it. And so we're going to go scoot out a little bit. Scoot out. There you go, right there. So we're going to go right here. All right? Let me help you out a little bit. Since I'm a nice guy, I'm going to take this cushion. This is better, huh? So I'm going to take this cushion. We'll put this under his feet so it doesn't hurt him so much. Lift your feet up. Now put it back down. Now scoot back to me some. There we go, good. This is a little easier. Now we're gonna put the body tempering thing right on his feet, all right? Remember we talked about the metatarsal spreading, you know? All right. Now I'm gonna right like that. You ready? Yep. Then I brought my kettlebell friend here. The guy who sells Iron Grip called me on the phone and goes, when you go to the Eagles, you're in Iron Grip heaven. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. So so this ain't gonna hold it, but you see my point here? I'm gonna leave this here 7 minutes. Then Nate, you wanna talk real quick about the research?
Yeah, so there's just look. Once mic. Yeah. So Donnie does a really good job of describing what his qualifications are. I mean, he's a very experienced weightlifter, football player in the arena leagues, and has developed these techniques over time with his experience. And then he's surrounded himself with people that kind of start to delve into, well, what's really at play here? What are the mechanisms at play? And so as has been stated before in the previous clinics, hey, some of the things that we do, we don't have solid research behind them. There's some, and there's some that helps us understand things a little bit better. A couple of the studies that I've looked at, I should tell you, I guess, I'm a doctor of physical therapy, currently a candidate for a doctor of science from Baylor University, and an active duty physical therapist with the U.S. Army. So some of the studies that we look at with this modality, one is from Gelson, I believe in 1998 or 1999, took rats, and he applied instrument-assisted soft tissue work to rat tissue. And he applied either no pressure, light pressure, medium pressure, or heavy pressure, and then measured the fibroblastic activity amongst those tissues after applying the pressure. And what he found was that those with no pressure applied to the tissue was, of course, normal fibroblastic activity. And as the pressure increased, in fact, as it got to the highest amount of pressure, about 100 pounds per square inch, so even a little bit heavier than this, he saw almost double the fibroblastic activity. Now, what does that mean? That means that connective tissue was getting stronger as you applied more pressure to it. Now, does that mean things clinically or in the weight room? That research is yet to be done. I asked to do that kind of research in my current program, and biopsies of football players' tissue wasn't going to get approved. So unfortunately, that didn't happen. But hopefully in the future we can find something a little more solid. But bottom line is, we are affecting tissue with this kind of weight, this kind of heavy weight. Anecdotally, as you found out, you didn't need to stretch quite as much after applying this. Right. The other thing that I've considered in the back of my mind is, we know that bone increases in strength according to the stress that we apply to it, much like Wolff's Law or the SAID principle, right? Specific adaptation to imposed demands. That happens as we load the bones axially with weightlifting. What's happening, and I have to ask myself, what's happening as we load heavily the bones in a translational type force? Is that going to affect us with more strength preparation? I think of the Eiffel Tower, or the Statue of Liberty. I live in New York now, so I think of the Statue of Liberty. Mm-hmm. It's built to withstand wind forces translationally. And if you look at the structure of bone, it's very similar to the Statue of Liberty and that kind of, or the Eiffel Tower in that trabecular design. Will it withstand more pressure translationally as we learn to adapt to the weight as it's applied to us translationally? So those are just some thoughts and ideas on what's happening at the cellular level with this type of modality.
Thanks, Nate.
Yeah, sure.
I'll be calling you up again in a second. You guys give me any questions I can't answer, I got Nate here, so go for it. So they were like, I like to stump that big fat guy. you know, with some terminology. I'm like, go for it, man, I don't care. So we did this. I just had him come up and feel how pliable it gets after. You can feel the difference in the tissue. And so we don't know if we're actually going to see a ton difference in flexion, you know, from that. You see a little bit, Nate? So that's just, and you know, he did nothing to earn it, right? You just lie there like an old marriage, you know? You just lie there. I'll do all the work, honey. So it's like, so, I mean, this did all the work for him. He's almost done. You ready to come up? Sure. Okay, so we'll get, I don't want it to roll over his toes, so you get the kettlebell. All right, there we go. Now go ahead and walk around. It's gonna start getting pins and needles feelings, but I mean, isn't it weird?
Yeah. You're definitely on the ground more.
Yeah, and why? We want him to be a conductor of force, right? If his feet are spread and wide, he can draw more power. I mean, it's that simple. Or, you know, I don't know what else to say. It's like I try to tell my football player buddies, look, take and just put that stupid tube sock thing you got, put that on. Don't put the white sock on. And spray the inside of your shoe with the pre-wrap spray, the sticky spray, all right? And go barefoot in your cleat. And that way you'll still have your sock on, but it'll be the stirrup sock, right? But now your foot's at one with the shoe because the heat of your foot will activate the glue and make the glue stick to the sole of your shoe, so your relays from your brain to your feet are that much faster. You follow? It's really simple. I'm just a dumb old fat guy redneck, trust me. And I came up with it, all right? So it's that simple, all right? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna roll his calves, okay? So we got a lot of stuff going on back here. Not necessarily all good, but it's not all bad because it's fixable, right? And so I'm just gonna start rolling nice and easy. See that? And I'm not gonna go all the way down to where he had it on there because that's already done. Just like here, okay? Easy stuff. One more time, you okay? When we first did this, we were like, there's no way, this is crazy. It hurts so bad. You know, remember your first time you had your cast roll? It's horrible, but after about a month, you don't even feel it anymore. You feel nothing. I feel nothing when I get my cast roll. And that's what we'll do. And we can do this right before game. The center, a couple years ago, the center for the Lions, he was a 14-year vet, right? He calls me up, and I'm like, hello? And he's like, can I do the body temper? Can I body temper my calves right before the game? And I'm like, well, who are you playing? And he goes, Miami. And I was like, well, of course you can. So I was like, keep my fingers crossed. And she called me back after, he texted me after the game. He's like, man, that was awesome. I never played better. Thanks. And I was like, whew. You know, because I just guessed on that one. I mean, I really did. I'm not playing football. You know, I'm old. So I was like, I played center. That's what was my position. Well, but I didn't know if the body tempering would work. I didn't get to do body tempering when I was playing. So we're going to take that off. All right, you okay? Now, just, I think that's about all. Just go ahead and walk around, walk that off, and you should feel pretty good. Now, you okay? Well, thank you so much for, yes, sir. All right, now, you have shorts, so can I use you real quick? So, another neglected muscle group is the tibialis, the anterior tibialis muscle. You guys, go ahead and scoot back.
Scoot back?
Yeah, you can.
Lay down?
No, you can sit up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just very good, right there. So we have this boomstick thing here. And Chris Duffin makes these for me. He came to my gym about 3 years ago, wanted to learn all about body tempering. And I was like, okay, well, how long are you staying? He goes, like 2 days. I'm like, well, heck, I could be done by lunchtime. We can go to Bojangles and eat, you know? So he had this, and I had my original boomstick made was just a piece of steel like this with 2 grenades on each end welded, okay? And that way I can get into the tissue, you know? And we do what's called target tempering. We go into there and we hold it for a minute because we've tried every amount of time. In 1 minute works the best. And if you have to, you just repeat because the person is in an 8 out of 10 tolerance for this stuff for that 1 minute. So when I go into your pec and I'm digging in there, you're like, oh, okay, that's 8, okay? 1 minute is all you got because we're holding it like that. And if I need to go through it again, I can, you know? Usually the bigger, the 360-pound guys will probably hit twice, you know? But I can go a few spots here under the pec, and then I got a shoulder that works amazing, you know? I mean, it's right, Nate, it's uncanny. It's used in physical therapy all over the world right now. I mean, are you kidding me? You know, that's crazy. So what I do with this muscle is I usually take a pen and where the fibula sticks out, I'll find that. His is really high, so I'm not worried here, but some of them are a little lower, and if that's the case, just draw a smiley face on it, and then follow this tibia bone, this real sharp razor end, and so he has a nice deadlift scar on here, or a box jump, one of the two. So we're gonna take and just follow the deadlift scar, okay? And then I'm gonna stay in this area. So what we'll do is I'll turn the foot like this, and I'll get it on the meaty section here. I'll tell you what, scoot to the end over here so I can, this boomstick. By the way, the boomstick got its name from Ashy Slashy, the guy from The Evil Dead. He had a shotgun when no one else had one. And he goes, "This is my boomstick." And everyone's like, "Ah." I was like, that would be a great name for this thing. So I'm gonna go right here, and I'm gonna do it right here, throttle a little bit, and just start coming down. And I'm not gonna put a ton of pressure on. Can y'all see? And when I get down to this bony structure here, I'm just gonna nice and light. And I get into there, into the ankle a little bit, come up, get inside all that tissue just like this. And I'll give you the rush job. See that? I could get in here. Okay, you pretty much got that. Then I like to take, and it's called a scraping technique, and I'll get right up here to that bone, and I'm gonna pull it down and just go right along the side of that bone, get all that tissue, okay? When I'm done, his foot will actually lift up when he walks. It won't be knuckle dragging, okay? Like a Neanderthal. Actually, the foot will lift up, and he won't be sloshing down the hallway while he's walking, you know what I mean? Because we freed the muscle up to do its job. New thing I call a spike technique. We'll go right in here like this. We'll just let the oil of the skin be the lubricant, and we'll take and we'll just glide that thing right like that. You feel that?
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, and I get it all the way down. I lighten up down here, shove it back up. There we go. There's two things that you'll never hear me talk about, but I'll reference them. That is the central nervous system and the lymphatic system. Both have a huge role in body tempering, okay? And both have a huge role in ankle and foot stuff. The reason I don't talk about them, and the reason we shouldn't talk about them, I say we because we have a bunch of people in the room here, is because it's not your forte. You're not trained in it. So it's like, you know it's there, like an ingredient, but you just go roll with it, okay? Because the experts claim they only know 20% of what the central nervous system does. Experts, all right? So me being far from an expert, I might know like a percentage of what the central nervous system does, what I read on Google, okay? So same with the lymphatic system. So with the lymphatic system, we like to incite, you okay?
Oh, yeah.
Is that good? All right, cool. Now walk around, see how that is, and then come back and we're gonna do the side. Easy? Isn't that cool? So like I said, now go ahead and lie down here and just prop your leg right up on that. We're gonna get the side of it this time. Just lay on your side if you could. Just, there you go. And scoot on down. There you go. Scoot a little bit more and bend the knee. There you go. Now I can get right in here. All right? Right here. Nice and easy. Feel that? Yeah. This actually feels good, believe it or not, because there's a lot of stress going on in here. A lot of stuff. We can compress it too, but it is a large muscle mass. It's highly concentrated with power. All right? This is a very strong area of the body. All right, easy. And I could go right in here again. And again, I can feel that the end of the fibula there, so I'm just gonna, nice and easy. You okay? Oh, yeah. Cool. Yeah. And then shove that back. This is 22 pounds going straight down, all right? On your bigger humans, you have to use that bigger one. The pain pill is 44 pounds, all right? Cool? Oh, yeah. All right, cool, good. Any questions?
No, so wait, when you apply that force,
I'll repeat the question. Go ahead.
Will you apply more as like time goes on, where they like get sensitized to it?
Was I applying more pressure in some areas and less in others? The answer is yes. You know, there's the distal proximal thing, right? So when I get to the bigger flesh, I prep more pressure. As I get towards the more bony material, where it's just bones and tendons, we'll chill out a little bit. So I'm not a mean person, despite what my wife says, you know? So you follow me? Okay? Does that make sense? And that's what it is. Hey, we're gonna use you one more time, so take your shoe and sock off. So it's really that simple, right? So any other questions real quick before I show you this next technique? We good on time? Oh, good, we're doing well. So Next thing we're gonna do is body temper the bottom of the foot while it's in a passive state. All right, we do this, again, this is the one that's not real attractive. It's not sexy like David Weck would say, all right? So when I do the bottom of the foot, this is what I like to do right before a heavy squat or deadlift. When we do this, Joe, when we get that done, everyone's performance increases. It's only because you made the nerves happy and you spread the foot like a duck underwater. Wah, 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 wah. The quack sounds are free. So, wah, wah, you know, when it goes like that, your foot needs to spread, all right? Because you're a conductor of power. My old buddy Louis Simmons would always cue us on squats. Press out on your knees, press out on your knees, you know? So he has the squat stance pretty wide, and the squatter's going down. He's pushing out to the outside. Push to the outsides of your feet, okay? And the feet would automatically come up from the inside. You see, we call it cupping, all right? And not the cupping for therapy. So we're gonna go, we're not the girlfriend-boyfriend cupping. So we're gonna go right here like this, all right? Here we are. I've lost how much power? Now I have to muscle, you know, remember that word, muscle it up? I have to do everything I can to get this weight up because I've lost contact with the floor and the ability to create torque. You follow me? So if I lose that ability, how much power can I make? If you ever watch a deadlifter who pulls sumo, they've got one chance at it. And if they get out of that plane at any point, they've lost all power, okay? It's the same thing here when you do this number, okay? Not good. You want to make as much contact with the floor as possible, all right? So go ahead and just lie down, and I'm going to move this bench around. There we go. This is really easy. We're going to turn this around just like this. And then you just put that foot up there just like you had it. We're going to take this. I usually use a smaller one than this, like the size of an Olympic bar. If you want to complain about body tempering prices, like what you pay for steel, because you can make your own. There's no patents on body tempering itself. We just have it trademarked and copyrighted, right? So with that being said, if you want to make your own tools, go make them. Go to your steel shop, your local steel scrapyard, and get some made. If you don't want to do that, tape 2 kettlebells together. Nobody in the gym's using them anyway, you know, go and do it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take his foot just like this, scoot out a little bit for me, right there. So I just want to work on here, and I'll get it on that plantar tendon right here, and just start rolling. That's all I'm going to do. And my goal is to get all this tissue diffused, all right? That's a fancy term for, you know, pliability, okay? So here we go. By the way, I was in a movie. It was called The Program. I played center for the college team, number 52. You see me in every single shot on the football field. It was pretty fun. It was like I was playing arena football. I came home and auditioned and got the part. And they fed us, and I made like $10,000 playing practice football. It was unbelievable. And James Caan was in it, and Halle Berry was in it. Got to meet all those people. So I can always go around technically and say I was in a movie with Halle Berry. So here we go here. And then right down here. The cool thing about her is she was married to a guy named Justice, baseball player for the Braves, and he used to come to all our shoots. So it's like, oh man, it's Justice over there. Because we were more impressed with him because he's an all-star baseball player. Let me go right here, just like that. Medically, it's called, we're right on the calcaneus, and we're just on the heel of the foot. And I get right where the Achilles kind of goes in there. I have an incredible PowerPoint for the ankle that Dr. Tim O'Neill made for me for this clinic. But there was no way to show it in the weight room, so I will email it to you if you want it. All you have to do is go on bodytempering.com. It's yours for free, okay? So just hit me up with it. And Tim did all this research, and the rat stuff is on there. So if you want to talk about rats, that's all on there. And we're going to have him get up after I'm done. And even with a smaller rod, I can go on the sides like this. This is a little too big to manipulate. Get on the side here. Just start rolling. Stay off of that pad under the big toe. No go, okay? Stay away from it. And I turn it vertically like this and roll it out. And when I'm done with this, okay, stay right there. I go right to this for about a minute, just for a little nerve stimulation. We'll take this here. I hope he's not ticklish. Let's see, let's cut this thing on here. Where is that? Okay. Is there a switch on this, Guy? There it is. All right. We're gonna have to scoot you back so it can reach. Okay, right here like this. Isn't that cool? Tickles like crazy. Right here. Wait till you get a foot date. I'm telling you, they're unbelievable. Now take the toes right here, go right on the foot, relax, relax. There you go. There we go. Okay, you get the message? All right, now go ahead and walk around. And you can tell people how your foot feels. Isn't that weird? The biggest thing I always hear is like, you got to do the other one now. I'm like, this is a clinic. You're here to learn. Get your buddy to do the other foot. So, isn't that easy?
I feel right now. I feel like I need the other one.
I told you. I know what he's going to say before he says it. So it's really incredible. I mean, now his foot is spreading. His nerves have been incited. He's romanced his foot again. He's created a nice copacetic relationship, and now everything's going to be happy. What if, let's just go a little medical here, what if we did feet like this and ankle compression to people that were just elderly, you know, and had all kinds of orthopedic issues in the spine and stuff, in the hips? What would happen? Because a lot of orthopedic surgeons that I've worked for said when you see something's messed up there, chances are there's something messed up all the way to the top of the head. And I was like, whoa, that's most of everybody, you know? So if that's the case, you know, what if we just did feet and ankles, no exercise or anything? Would they start improving? That's a research that someone ought to do one day, you know? I'm not going to do it because I only care about football players and weightlifters. So we're going to throw a few, and girls volleyball starting to creep in on body tempering now. Mississippi's doing it, and they won the national title in it and everything. They're like, man, body temper saved our butt. Thank you so much. I'm like, sure, I didn't do anything though, you know? So that's what it is. So we have that, all right? We talked about squats and deadlifts and how you have to grab the surface. Let's get back to the sock again. You lifters in here, okay? In meets, you can't go barefooted, but you can in training. But try this number. Take your shoe, no sock, ditch the sock, spray, Loctite spray, the carpet glue, okay? You can spray that really lightly or your skin will come off with the shoe, all right? Really lightly, about once every 5 weeks. And then when you go to squat, and when you have these shoes to lift in, that's all they're for is the squat. So right before your first warm-up, you'll put these shoes on, okay? And then right after your last set, you will take them off. Was I very clear on that, okay? You will not wear them for anything else. You're not going to wear them to go over to do belt squats. You're not going to wear them to go over and do kettlebell swings, okay? They're just for that. And take them off. Everybody that's here that came to this clinic can afford a pair of shoes just for squats. I'm putting my reputation on it, just saying, okay? All right, so that's the way it is. Plus, they'll last a long time. And your squats will go up, 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 and you'll be better and better. If not, your comfort level will go up. And a comfortable lifter lifts more weights. A comfortable player on the field plays better ball, all right? When you're not comfortable and nothing feels right, your performance, wah, 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 you know? I knew a girl one time when her boyfriend would call, the phone signal was wah, wah, wah. I'm like, man, you must really like it. I go, he's boring. And I was like, okay, so don't do the boring phone signal to your body, you know? When your body tells you something, that ought to be wah, 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 you know? You got to treat yourself good. You've got to, you know, the feet and the ankle are everything, okay? Knees do directly what they're told between the correlation for the ankle and foot and the hips, okay? That's studies. That's not me. That's not a Donnie Thompsonism. That's me telling you. Just relaying a message, okay? The knees will do exactly what they're told with your ankle to hip relationship, all right? The ankles play a lot of role in lower back stuff, all right? We have a lot of stuff. Here's my biggest point I want to make. I'm so tired of peeling back Band-Aids and picking scabs. That's all we seem to do in this day and age. I want to go to the root of the problem, have a solution, and make the change to move forward without this anymore, okay? So if you bought a new house, and it has, well, it's not, you bought an old house, but it's your new house, and it has termite damage. Here's what we do as as coaches, we'll just put a new floor over that termite damage. It'll look good. Nobody will know. But there's termite damage. There's structural issues under that floor. So you could choose to ignore it, and it's not going to go away. You know, I always do this. I always do the same thing. Don't change my world. I am the same every day. You know, is that who you are? If I refuse to believe it, therefore it does not exist. Is that you? It doesn't matter what you believe. If it's the truth, it's going to get you one time or the other or leave you behind. Okay? So you have to face facts at some point. And ankle and feet, how bet they're not sexy, they are the most important thing we as strength coaches, athletic trainers, PTs, whatever we are, okay, performing athletes. You know, we've got a few powerlifters in here that are competing now. Like him, okay? So when he doesn't want to hear anything snap, crackle, and pop when he's on the platform or in training. Most of your injuries in lifting and most of your injuries in the sports are during practice. They're not during the game so much, okay? Not saying that there's no injuries in the game. I'm just saying compared to practice, they're minimal, all right? So we have to prepare better, okay? I've skipped a section on my ankles. I can't remember quite what it is. Yes, I remember, okay? I bought this band for a reason. I was about to wrap it up and send you guys home. So, come on up here with we're gonna sit him. He's gonna sit facing you guys. Let's do the lateral strengthening thing real easy. It's an old thing after, take your shoe off. Oh, yeah. You can leave your sock on though. So an old thing at Dick Hartzell's, but Dick Hartzell's was for sprained ankles. So we upped it a notch. It took me like 3 years to come up with this simple slip knot thing. So go ahead and scoot back some. Yeah. Just so your ankle's hanging off. Scoot back more. Oh. There you go. Drop, take the band. And say I got it. 1 inch band, drop it like that, okay? This is all you have to do. For my dyslexic brothers and sisters in here, this is how I remember, okay? Either end, just go all the way around until it's all the way back again. That's all you gotta remember, okay? Now you know you gotta do both sides, because this is a lateral drill, all right? So we're gonna go right in here, and I'm gonna come here, and so whatever side I choose, I'll just do the next side afterwards. So I'm gonna get these two bands together, not overlap. He's gonna grab this, stay in line with the femur. He's gonna pull and let your foot evert like this. There you go. Now, when you have a good tension on there, like 70, 80%, start doing go in and out. There you go. Abduction, adduction, whatever you wanna call it, okay? So here it is. And he's gonna keep like a prom queen at the old local parade. Hello, aren't I beautiful? Yes, you are, okay? That's why you won. So this is what we do, all right? Easy stuff. How many reps, might you ask? 20. High repetition stuff for a highly loaded ankle, okay? You're not gonna tire this old boy out. How are you gonna tire your ankle out? Come on, get real. So he's gonna do 20 here, then we're gonna switch it. He's gonna do 20 on the other side. Lateral strengthening technique. Lateral strengthening technique, okay? Because how much are you gonna strengthen your Achilles if you're not post-op from reattachment? Seriously, how strong do you think you're gonna get? It's already strong. You can only improve its flexion and its environment, all right? Let it free up to do its job. It has its own name, for crying out loud. What's your bicep tendon's name? It doesn't have one, by the way. So we're gonna go right here. We'll let it hang down. Not one that's any good, so we'll go right here. So with flat-footed athletes, okay, pull that in all the way. Let your toes relax. Just like that. There you go. Now, turn it to the outside. 20. All right? Flat-footed athletes, 20 to go through 2 sets of this each side. You can do this on a daily basis. All right? We showed you how to make the Achilles pliable by putting static tempering on there and then rolling the calf muscle. That's pretty good for the thing. And then last thing we're going to do, and then we're done, is getting that little posterior action, posterior anterior glide on the talus bone. Really easy with the bands. They're already set up. I got a dumbbell here, okay? You like that? Yeah, that's awesome. So this came to my mind because Dick Hartzell's sprained ankle way was this, and you did here, and you pulled this in and went like this. Now you remember? Now do inversion, eversion like that. You see the difference? Yeah. So if his ankle's sprained, This is exactly how I want to do this exercise. But I don't work with sprained ankle people. Nate does. I work with medically correct athletes. So I'm all about strengthening this, okay? I was at an organization one time, I can't name names, all right, because I'm on film. They said, when the people with the green shirts come out, stop what you're doing. Then when they go back in, you can continue. And I was like, that really made me feel good, you know? I got to do my work in secret, you know? Woe is me. So I'm going to go right here. And Joe will tell you, being a old ex-power lifter, and he still competes, man, if you want to know the life of being humble, just try that sport. It's the lowest sport of the totem pole. You know, any sport you can think of, powerlifting is beneath that, and it's a labor of love. But what's funny is you choose to do it, and it's so fun. When you get your numbers that you want, you're so excited, you know. When I finally got my last number, I pulled a deadlift just to get my number, right? I stood there, I started smiling. Yes, that was the last deadlift I was ever pulling in a meet, ever. I was so happy, you know, but that's how excited, because I got my numbers, and it made me happy. And that's what powerlifting does. There was a thing on here, in one of these things that talks about will, and when you have the human spirit, will is exerted, and it comes back to you, reached all its goals. It's unbelievable. I cannot tell you how it feels. It's unbelievably fulfilling. The rest of your life, you know, I went and gave everything I had, and I achieved it. I mean, it's unbelievable to say that, you know. So that's why I help people. Another thing we're going to do, let me do one more exercise, and then we'll say goodbye. We come up here. We'll just do this one with your shoe on. We move this out of the way. So I'm going to take this. I want something heavy enough that's not gonna stray. So I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to lower this as far down as I can. Go ahead and put your foot up on there. Yep, right here. There you go. So now, is that good tension, or do you need a little bit more tension?
Oh, yeah, it's okay.
Here, let me give you a little bit more. Okay, right there. All right, now I'll hold this. Okay, you guys see where he's at? Now, that thing wants to snatch his foot back. Push it. There you go, like that. Now, you stand up and keep the tibia vertical. And I want you to take that bone, that joint right there, and drive it into the band. Nope. You just drive it into the band. Go on your toe, drive your ankle into the band. There you go, like a TKE for the knee. Yeah. You see that? And then drive your heel down as you go down. There you go. It's a great ankle stabilizer, especially after a sprain, okay? But it's awesome if you don't have a sprain, just to get it stronger. You're taking the talus bone that's under the tibia, and you're gliding it posteriorly, okay? That's all you're doing. Remember, the two speakers before me talked about joint distraction and how it was so effective for athletes. And boy, is he right. We heard the term robust. Does everybody here remember who said that yesterday? Great term. Huge, strong coffee guy. Strong cigars, Maduros from Nicaragua, by the way. And I like bourbon and scotch. So robust is a word that I'll always remember, all right? That's cool.
That's good.
So, yeah, isn't that cool? So always get a little assistance on this, and you could like take anything like a cinder block, the side of a power rack, you know, but just get enough distance, and you're gonna have to kind of stand there and just, if you're by yourself, just shove your foot up there and try to catch the thing, all right? Because you need enough band tension on there so you can, you know, pull that talus bone back. You're in the most loaded joint in your body. It takes some work. That's all I'm going to say. All right? I mean, that ankle is treated horribly your whole life until something goes wrong. And then it's tended to. It's like a cellar. All right? So it's time for ankle love. It's time to boost that up. You know, do something. Now, since ankles are in its infancy, some experts are starting to surface about ankles and feet. Okay, like I told you they would a couple years ago. Why don't you guys be on the forefront of it? I'm just here as the messenger delivering some stuff we came up with. You know, you guys can take it to another level. You guys are young and bright. Go for it. You know, what if you actually prevent ACL problems? Speaking of ACL, who's one of the highest recipients of ACL surgery these days with young athletes? Offensive tackles. Why is that? Well, they're getting past pro. You ever see them? They're 6'7", 6'8" for one thing. They're giants, okay? All right? They're setting up like this, all right? How much flexion do they have in their ankles? Most of them have their ankles taped at 90 degrees, static, okay? Then they have knee braces on, And sometimes, not all of these guys, but sometimes they'll spat them over top of their shoe. So if we need 20 degrees toe to knee dorsiflexion for strength, okay, which this is strength coming out of offensive line stance, because believe you me, the defensive line is coming out of a strength stance, all right? If this man needs that much flexion that fast, and he has no lateral flexion either, an eversion, okay, where's it going to radiate to? The knee, all right? And if it bypasses the knee, if that brace locks the knee down, it's going to go to his lower back and hips. So we've got to strengthen that ankle. We have to have less tape. And by the way, I came up with a tape job that really works well, but there's no pre-wrap. It has to go directly on skin. And we need a tape invented by you guys. Someone needs to work with Johnson & Johnson and get the tape that's really strong and it stretches, but it's not like that wimpy tape they got now that stretches. It's all fluffy. It's like a tape that really stretches hard. That would be the bomb for ankles, you know, because it allows the flexion of the ankle and the performance of the ankle with compression, but it doesn't lock the ankle into a 90-degree bend. You follow me? And it's just that easy. You know, we use Herman Munster as an example. Yeah, if you guys know who the Munsters are, Herman Munster, he used to stomp and laugh, you know? But that's how some of these football players look. Their ankles are so bad, they're like, you know, and they're like, whew, man, chop your feet to another level, you know? We need finesse. We need cat-like reflexes for those ankles and feet. Then we want to have those other problems to deal with. Because the last thing I want to do is wait for a player to get better all the time, or a lifter, you know? And I have a daughter who's 9. When she's in athletics, which she already is, do you think I want to see her have ACL repair at 14 years old? I mean, I'll be dying, you know? I can't believe my daughter's going into surgery. You know, I'll be crying my eyes out, you know? I mean, I don't want that, so I want to prevent it now. We don't want to peel back Band-Aids and pick at scabs. I need the problem noted. That's why I surround myself with doctors, because I need to know it's not all just me, Donnie Thompson, coming up with this malarkey. I need validation and see if I'm right, and I need to run it past. They run through it, and they give me a yes or no on things. Basically, is how it works, right, Nate? So, and that's where we go. That's how all this stuff comes to be. All right, I've run it past Kelly Starrett, run it past everybody I can, but I don't sit around trying to figure this stuff out. It just hits me, and then I get like, oh man, we got to fix this. But I don't recognize a problem until it hits me in the face. And this was the biggest one right here. Dick Hartzell revealed it to me. Dealing with ankle sprains. Boring. You ever see an ankle sprain? Like grade 4 when they can barely walk? But guess what? The ankle sprain guy and girl can still do this. All right? What happens if you sprain your wrist? You can't brush your teeth, bro. You can't comb your hair. That's how, you see the difference? You can tear your ACL in your knee, you can still hobble around. Loaded, unloaded, okay? The shoulders just hang there, the arms hang there like slabs of meat. They do nothing unless you're training. Nothing. That's why your upper body training volume needs to be up, up, up compared to lower body. You didn't think about that, did you? Not just so you can have more muscle, but you can't really overdo training on the upper body because it needs all the help it can get, unless you want to walk around on your hands throughout the day, all right? So just think about that. As a PT, or an orthopedic surgeon, when I fix somebody and I fix a lower extremity, this is loaded, so it's going to heal much faster. When I fix an upper extremity, like an elbow or a wrist or a shoulder, like a simple slap tear, your butt's going to be lying in a recliner asleep at night. That's how much pain you're going to be in, okay? So I've got to think about that, how I treat a person. And as a strength coach, I got to think about that when they're released to me of how we're going to do their training at that point. You follow me? Especially when they come back from an ankle sprain. So it is what it is. Any questions? Because I know you guys want to go home. You can go to bodytemporing.com, okay? All my information's on there. Body Tempering's free, okay? You don't have to pay anything for it. I don't sell anything on my site, but your information's there and you can go. YouTube is on there. You can click that button and all these things I did are on there, also free. Instagram, I got a lot of ones on Instagram for free. So just go ahead and go to that site. And my email's on there too. All right, did you have one?
Yeah, could you just hit on real quick the sanding stuff and how you would
Yeah,
use it within
thank you.
from
This is the other thing. One more thing. It's going to take a minute. That's what my grandmother said about all her kids. All my daughters took a minute. So I never knew what she meant until I got older. So I'm going to go right here. This sand dune here is a typical example of ankle strengthening. So if I take my shoes off, it has a 5-degree higher end, and the other end is obviously 5 degrees lower. So I can get on this thing, and we've been turning the football players onto this quite a bit. You go 1 minute intervals, and you just start, boom, just start running, okay? It's going to take your toes and drive them up, okay? And your metatarsal spread, and they bunch and they spread. And it incites all the nerves in the lower leg. 1 minute, 30 seconds is nothing. You can tell I'm not even breathing hard after 10 seconds, right? When you get to 30 seconds, like, this is easy. Then that last minute, an in-shape person is like, oh boy, am I right? It's unbelievable. So these things, I don't know what they cost, but we all have one, and they've been great for ankle strengthening and inciting lower leg involvement, recruitment, okay? Last thing I'm going to tell you, and thank you for that question, by the way, because it lets me know, the best dynamic thing you could do for your ankles is the trampoline. Get one of those trampolines in your yard, 15 minutes a day. Nothing fancy, just jump around. Jump on 1 foot, jump on 2 foot, land on your knees. I don't care what you do, but don't get up there with your buddies, just you by yourself, okay? 15 minutes. If you want to get up with your buddies, do that afterward. 15 minutes a day, jumping on a trampoline, okay? Telling you, ankle problems will be a thing of the past. Ankle domination, that's what it's all about. You can dominate everything with strong ankles and feet that work. Make flexion your friend, because all of us don't have it right now the way we should have it. When PTs actually dive in, or athletic trainers, and start working ankles, they're like, holy crap, we've got an epidemic here, you know? But we're so busy treating bad ankles that we don't think about the other end. So I do, so I don't want to be on that other end. So, all right? So, hey, thanks for coming today. Thanks to your Hammer Strength for having us, and the Eagles organization having us. Man, it's been a blast. And, you know, again, you can get a hold of me on that website anytime you want. I'm free. I'm cheap. I'm a cheap date. I'm a cheap date. You might have to bring me a cigar once in a while, right, Nate? But other than that, all right? And thank you for everybody. Give yourselves a hand for coming. This is it. And we'll see you around, okay? Thank you.